Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Hello! Toot, 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 cunts!
Wow.
I expressly forbid you from saying the C word tonight.
Wow. We just agreed that we would not be dropping any C-bombs.
I literally just said, let's be less cunty this week, and you've fucking gone straight for it.
Yeah, look, you know, you don't own me. You can't tell me what to do.
Oh, look, we've had no complaints as yet, so...
Oh, this is true.
This is an adult fucking podcast.
There is an explicit warning.
Do we have a rating?
Explicit.
Oh, so we're like R18.
Yeah.
Not R18, just there is explicit words used.
So if we create video content, does that mean we're technically in an adult film?
Adult entertainment.
Depends. If we reenacted some of the stuff we spoke about, it might be.
Well, we've completely bypassed our intro. So for those that are just tuning in, I'm Josh.
I'm Caleb.
And I am Ryan.
And we are Send It Mate Podcast.
You!
I'm going to just ask both of you something. Has this been as easy as what you thought?
Fuck no.
This being what?
The podcast. Because behind the scenes, one day we'll get around to filming behind the scenes, and that's going to be like.
There's so much things that need to be done, though. I didn't realize what it entailed.
Yeah, man.
Just
And-
like,
I mean, I do because I do 90% of them, but anyway.
well, yeah, you do. You do an amazing job
I
on
work
editing
very
and
hard at
uploading
being
them.
very funny.
And failing miserably.
There's a lot of like pre-thought that goes involved in planning and getting guests on, and then actually researching our topics or what you're going to say, or coming up with something that you're going to say.
I think that I don't know, that effort versus reward is definitely, we don't do it for any monetary value or anything like that. We do it because we love it. We want to create communities and whatnot. But I didn't even think about what it would entail when we started this.
I don't think anyone.
I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
We just wanted to have an excuse to get pissed together every week.
I mean, the minimum, that's what we're achieving. So
Yeah. It seems to be working.
So we're achieving something.
we are. I'm worried. We're on the 19.
Inebriation.
We're on the 19 crimes again. Last time that happened, the podcast was.
Things got a little bit shaky.
No, I listened to it the other day.
heated.
It was pretty good.
Which one?
Last week's episode. I brought 19 crimes last week.
No, that wasn't. No.
We definitely did not drink 19 crimes last week.
Yeah, brought 19 crimes last week.
Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
No, I'm referring to the one where we had 3 bottles and 19 grams.
Oh, mate. We've got 2 and then 3 bottles aboard.
Yeah, we've
Actually-
got a mixed batch today.
Tim, my brother-in-law,
Drink
was
responsibly.
surprised about how much we drink.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing considering he's a doctor.
We drink probably too much.
I think we
Is there too much?
we drink an Australian amount.
We all have a pretty
like-
good tolerance, so
You know
it
what
does
I'd-
take a fair bit to get us on our way.
You know what I'd like to do?
Drink responsibly.
Get a international guest, like someone from the States, and just be like,
Yeah.
one of the prerequisites is you have to keep up with us drinking and
Yes.
see how well he does.
Oh, they'd be fucked. Get some bloody backwoods bloke fucking drinking Miller Lite every day, and then we're like full strength.
Although we've had a couple of guests try to keep up with us that couldn't.
That's true.
But, you know, Tegan couldn't stand up by the end of that I'm on. That's a joke. She didn't actually drink.
Make a joke.
You're
that's
looking at
funny,
me
Ryan.
you're looking at me with a confused look on your face.
I'm sitting there going, she didn't drink a fucking thing, not even water that
That's
whole time.
why it's funny. Fuck, my talent is wasted on you.
You have to make jokes about things people would actually realize. You and I were the only ones there. So this is funny to no one but you and me.
No, it's funny because
And I'm not laughing.
you're laughing.
You have been on Ryan's.
You have. You- I have.
comedic
Like a-
value the
No,
last
I have.
few
I
weeks.
have actually.
Holy
I bet
shit!
it's actually it put a fire at me. It's going, do you know what? I'm
No,
gonna fucking make
I'm
Caleb
challenging him the same
is.
way I did you to fucking improve your spelling. I've fucking challenged him to
I'll
be
tell you what, I've
funny
been on fire. I've been on fire.
because his repertoire is in need of some fresh material.
This is why you just got to get on YouTube, man, and look up Peppa Pig.
That shit
It
is
doesn't make you more funny. That just makes you laugh.
No, it gives you something to put in your repertoire.
Well, we don't need to bring up Peppa Pig for the third week.
There's going to be. It's like it's on YouTube. Is there a setting where you could just type something in and then all of like the associated playlists come up and it just automatically plays? Is that a thing? I don't know much about how that would work on YouTube because I don't watch YouTube.
Pretty much does.
So the algorithm.
How do you not watch YouTube, man? He's like the best source to research anything you're going to
If
buy.
I want to learn something, I do, but I'd go very like specific videos. I don't do like a playlist or anything like that.
So the algorithm should just belt feed associated videos then.
100%.
Yeah, okay. So if
How do you think I find new music? So often.
I just thought that you were in touch, man. Like you knew people. You had
No,
things.
because I've subscribed to a bunch of shit and then it suggests other stuff similar and then I just go down rabbit holes of finding new bands that I like.
Yeah, I did that with Spotify. Although I found that Spotify is just like a rinse and repeat algorithm.
No,
Shit.
you got to search on Spotify, man. And I'm just going to point out, I've been listening to Tom Jones this week, and you should all get on it.
Yeah. Tom Jones. Don't mind a bit of Tommy.
He's only 40 years late to the party, but okay.
Right,
man.
I'm not even fucking 40
I've been
years
listening
old.
to a lot of Elton John. I watched the.
Oh no,
the movie?
that's a little
Mate.
colourful for my
No,
life.
he's fucking. It's like
Colourful?
the like actual rock star. Musically, the dude's a fucking genius.
There's one song I like. I'm Still Standing. That's it. Everything
I'm
else,
still standing.
yeah, everything else can fuck off.
I'll pay you $300 to shut the fuck up.
You're right. Peppa Pig does make you more funny.
Stolen material.
No, I've been actually on Tom Jones lately, and also it's going to come to me as soon as I open my playlist.
You are
bear with me.
terrible at this.
Bear with me.
Dead
it
air.
is.
Imagine if this was an actual radio show.
I know, right? He'd be fired on the first. day.
Meatloaf, man. I've been,
Meatloaf.
I've been getting into
What the
Meatloaf
fuck?
lately.
Bit of bat out of hell.
No,
Fucking
no.
A. Fucking A.
Meatloaf has been dead to me ever since he fucked up the grand final.
Oh, you can't fuck with Caleb's footy.
That's harsh. Yeah, you can't get
Oh, look
That
out.
is renowned as the
Going.
most epic fuck up in terms of
is.
halftime acts at the footy.
Nah, Meatloaf. Nah, he's got some bangers.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, look, from that sort of old school rock and roll, I'd say Hell's Bells, AC/DC.
Yeah, you see, AC/DC was ruined for me in Darwin. In every pub that you'd go to, it'd be AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, and
Jimmy Barnes or
Jimmy
something
Barnes and that, and it would just be like repetitive.
like that. Pub rock.
Yeah, but then you'd go and then have karaoke, and then everyone sings the same songs, and you sort of like you watch the progression of the patrons actually. You sort of like
Patrons?
The patrons.
Patreons. You sort of patrons, whatever it is. Fuck.
You can't even mix that between Patreon
Sort of-
and patrons.
Yes.
Patrons.
You can see the evolution. Like the older they get, they like move on from it. But then the next like generation of kids come in, and they just like put it on fucking rinse and repeat.
Just
like,
in they're in a pub rock bubble.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That would be the best to just go spend a night there or go spend a couple
no,
of
but
nights
when
there.
you live there for like
Yeah, that'd
years and
suck.
years and years, like every pub is the same.
Yeah.
It gets sort of old. That's why I've been like sort of quite obscure. I mean, who listens to Tom Jones?
I love Big Time. Mate,
And then, like-
it's classics.
Man, I've been rocking it at the gym. Like, fuck.
Oh,
it
hang
is
on,
getting
you
me
work out
pumped.
How
while
the
you're
fuck
listening
do
to
you
Tom
work out to
Fucking
that?
oath.
Although we are
Fucking
talking to
oath.
the same bloke who'd listen to Britney Spears and work out.
No,
That's
it was Carly Rae.
Carly Rae Jepsen. Call me maybe.
Yeah, mate. Yep. Nah, it's
Get your
burning
pop
down the
on.
house, man. Like that song
That just screams
fucking-
workout to me.
Yeah.
What, Carly Rae?
Yeah.
Look, you got to be in the situation to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like we'd listen to it
Don't knock it till you
before
try,
we'd
bro.
go on patrol, and the boys would be like, "Call me maybe," and you'd just be like, "Yeah,
So it's a bit more nostalgic for you.
yeah, a little bit."
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know
well,
what?
if it's
Fuck knows why you listen to it before you go on patrol, but
Shania Twain.
yeah, my dad loves Shania Twain. He's a
love Shania Twain.
secret Shania Twain like freak.
Does your mum know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because when I was young, it was like the only song he'd play in the car was "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," and I'd be like, "Dad, are you trying to say something?"
It's a great song.
It is a good song.
I love that song. I mean, that's probably got the nostalgic sort of essence to it as well because I listened to that a lot when I was growing up. I also listened to a lot of Christian rock.
You also wore high heels and a miniskirt.
No, that's not nostalgic. That's just cross-dressing.
jeez. Well, we'll have to delve deeper with Poiter when he's on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We will unfold that man on the podcast.
I think people are just going to get a better insight into you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but Dad's a wise, like, cool cat. So thanks.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, let's move on.
We're all becoming our fathers slowly.
Oh, that is,
It is,
very
and
true.
you are scary.
Do you know what we should do? We should
I'm
get,
scaring myself
We should
lately.
get all of our dads to record a podcast in our place and see how that
Fuck,
comes
that is a
out.
good idea.
That
That'd
would be
fucked
awesome.
7 ways from Sunday.
No one would know what the fuck they're doing.
My dad would try to swear and be like, "Oh, you wankers!"
Your dad wouldn't even. He'd be like, oh, gee whiz, that's gee whiz.
That's Cod's wallop. My dad's favourite saying, and I didn't work it out till I was like in my teen years, what Cod's wallop was, and it was fish shit.
It's cod.
Yeah, Cod's wallop.
Cod's wallop,
That's
that's
the
the
fish.
fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, really?
Fish
I
shit.
I didn't know that. Codswallop.
Yeah.
Okay, fish
Like
shit.
cod, the fish. Wallop. Shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
I learned something tonight, Josh. Thank you. Fuck, this has been educational. I learned what codswallop means.
Anyway, let's move on. So, point of interest this week. Well, actually today, to be honest, I went and did my hearing test.
You.
Another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so another one.
So, on a scale of 1 to royally fucked, because those who've listened to previous episodes would, there's a lot of reference to, I think you even spoke about the time where you had some substantial
Bleeding.
bleeding and whatnot when you're overseas. What would you say is the, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, like as in deaf, cannot hear anything, where does your hearing sit?
Well, so I was sitting in the booth and like she's asked a bunch of questions just about obviously the hearing loss and a bit of tinnitus, which is pretty much like consistent ringing in the ears. And it gets worse when it's quiet. And I've found that actually some sort of noises set it off even more. It's really strange. And it's actually quite, I mean, both of you are musicians, so you'd have some form of tinnitus, I'm sure. like the ringing sort of actually becomes really, really difficult at times. So it stops you concentrating. You know, it sort of it makes you a bit sort of like aggravated, a bit agitated.
I like to harmonise with it.
Yeah, cool. Of course. Of course. Yeah, that's right. Oh, God. Anyway, we've gone through these things, and I just said to her, look, it gets very, very bad when there's other noises going on and someone's trying to talk to me. I just seem to lose this ability to hear the person. And a lot of the time I'll actually try and predict what they're saying in context to the conversation.
Speaking of that, I'm finding at the moment, because I have a bit of hearing loss in my left ear, I'm finding it extraordinarily hard to hear people because I can't see their mouth because they're wearing a mask now.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like-
you naturally lip read, man.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck. I didn't realize how much I'd actually started lip reading to pick up conversation.
Yeah.
Like I went and ordered a Subway the other day and I'm standing there. I've ordered the bread first and then I'm like, she hasn't asked me what I want on it. So I just volunteered that information and then we've moved to the next step where she's going to ask me what cheese I want and she's looking at me and I'm like, I haven't heard her fucking say a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Old English, please. And then we've moved to the salad section and I'm waiting for, what salad would you like on that? I'm like, there's nothing. What? She's either just expecting me to just fucking read her eyes or she's not actually fucking saying anything here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it's terrible, eh?
And that's the thing, man, the masks, like not to mention you can't see the lips move, but it also sort of like dampens the noise. And it's becoming, it's like everyday things is quite challenging.
Well, I can't
like ordering fucking Subway.
I can't lip read. Like, I've never been good at it at all. So I'm finding that the dampening of like the S's and the T's and like the key points that break up a word, I can't hear that. And I'm in the same situation as you. I'm finding that my response to every question that I have been asked in the last month has been, hey?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
More and
can you
more.
say that again? Huh?
So like, do you have hearing loss?
Oh, shit, yeah. I'm the same boat as you guys. Left
Yeah.
ear is a bit how you going. Like, can't.
Yeah.
But I've got, my ear canals aren't, I was premature when I was born, 6 weeks, and my ear canals are a little bit fucked. And my left one's worse than my right, and all my hearing damage is in my left ear as well. So I'm sort of a bit skewy from the left-hand side. The right hand is not so bad, but if someone's standing on the left-hand side of me and there's background noise, I can't hear anything that they're saying.
It's when there's ambient noise because your ears actually, if you've got loss in one ear, your ears try and correct themselves to actually hear less in your good ear because it's trying to correct for your other one. It's fucked. Like,
That's funny you say that because I actually thought my left ear was better, and today she's like, "No, your left ear is worse, champ." I'm like, "Oh, okay, fuck."
And for those playing at home and all the kids out there, the lesson that we get from this is wear hearing protection. Whether
Nah,
you're
fuck
at
that shit. Just be
whether you're at a
man.
loud music
Suck it up.
concert with your favourite band or if you're down on the range letting off a 30-06.
Nah,
it's funny. I actually do that at concerts now. I use Hearing Pro at concerts now and enjoy it more.
You got some pretty nifty ear things though, don't you?
Oh, I bought
Earbuds.
some which just take the top end out. So not the top end. They take the like everything over a certain dB they take out. So you can still enjoy a concert and hear everything clearly, but you just don't have ringing in your ears the next day.
Yeah, they're not like the foam, normal foam ones that you get from Bunny. They're like the ones that look like 3 or 4
No.
cones.
They've got like a little hole in them and shit. Like, the little cones shove them in your ear. They're actually for people use them on planes, actually.
do you ever get like that deadening sound in your ear the next day, like where it's just suddenly like it'll just go like muffled, like you're wearing Hearing Pro and you're trying to listen through.
No, I don't get that.
Okay.
That's like your follicle. Like I think it's your inner ear follicles dying.
Yeah, mate, that happens a lot.
That is.
I get a random high pitched tone just every so often.
Tinnitus.
No, not the ringing constantly. Just every now and then, out of the blue, I just get this high pitched.
I think that's something to be attributed to tinnitus, actually. Yeah,
But it's
because you have
it's-
hearing loss, but then I'm most certain you've got tinnitus as well.
Yeah, in my left ear I do. So I don't. That's why my tinnitus isn't like terrible for me because my right ear's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is just at random, when you get like a change of atmospheric pressure
Mm-hmm.
and then you feel like that shift in your ears, I'll get that every so often accompanied by a really high pitched sound. And it's just for no reason.
That's really weird.
It is weird. And I told this and they're like, no, that's all part of the fucking hearing damage. I'm like, okay.
Mm.
But my choice now is put up with it. And then when it gets to a point where it's like so bad, then I can get.
Well, that's the thing.
Hearing aids.
So I did the test a couple times and
Just fucking moving us
Like,
on to where we're trying to get to here.
yeah, to put a long story short, she's looked at me and she's like, your your hearing damage is quite severe. You need hearing aids. And it was ironic because it was at this stage where I was like, what? Because I didn't hear her. I was like, well, what? She's like, oh,
that's great.
You got fucking severe hearing loss and you need aids. Hearing aids. I'm like, yeah, you need aids.
You got hearing loss and you need AIDS.
AIDS for everybody.
AIDS will cure it.
But long story short, yes, we should protect our ears as a young lad a bit more. Look, I didn't find the effects until I was older. So when I was younger, my ears recovered or something. I don't know. I just didn't feel it as much. Now my ears actually hurt.
There's a theory behind that as well. The muscle inside of the ear in a younger person is also thicker than that of an older person. So the division between the high frequencies and the low frequency. That's why when you're a kid, you want everything turned up so you can hear the bass because the density of the muscle, it's harder to get through that.
See, that's weird. I prefer my music and the TV. Like I have to have it loud to listen to me, and it's obscenely loud. Whereas I find that the pain happens. So say if you're shooting and an earbud falls out and you fire. Like when I was young, I'd just get a bit of a ringing for like a few seconds and go away. I'd be like, yeah, sick. Now I'm like, fuck. It sort of lingers for a long period of time.
See, this is where we need Dr. Tim.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to message me about this when he listens.
I hope he does. We're pretty shit at
We should have him on like
confirming the facts that we spit out. Yeah.
We should put him on a retainer and put him on like speed dial.
Do you know what we should do? We should go back to our previous episodes and fact check ourselves.
No, I feel like we should not because there's going to be some discrepancies.
We'd have to be like,
you're analysing the data so much, Ryan. You can do that.
Do you know what? I will. I'm going to listen to every single episode I'm not going to do shit. Who are we kidding?
He tried to back up something about Ivermectin this weekend on our private chat.
No,
I didn't even watch that. I'm like, I'm fucking sanding a wall. I'm like,
no,
what is this shit?
This was,
fuck off.
This was actual research of the shit that you guys
So
are just.
no. I'm gonna lay it out how it is. So it's basically saying, all right, I'm gonna go into.
Did you actually read it?
I did actually read it. So it was. Give me 1 second. It was pretty much saying that ivermectin, like the studies are a bit rocky.
No,
and it did.
It was,
and I'm sitting there going, well, so are the studies on fucking all the other
a bit
vaccines.
rocky. It was outlining that the study, the whole basis of the argument for the ivermectin thing, it's been found that the results weren't a little bit rocky. They were, quote, fraudulent, and all research papers that have quoted them have been withdrawn.
One word, Fauci. There you go. Fraudulent as well.
Fauci.
Oh, fuck. Shit.
It was like a nail in the coffin of your argument, and then you're like,
because you've just explained exactly what's happening with everything, and no one knows the fucking
And
real
that was my
answer because there's
argument,
so
though.
much fucking shit in the wash.
But that also in that article was that Oxford University is starting a trial, but what they're doing is they're giving ivermectin to people that have COVID symptoms, not people that have been diagnosed with it. And that in itself screams.
Isn't that COVID now?
I don't
You
know.
like cough and you got COVID.
No, like to me, like I read that and I was like, fuck that. Like for an establishment like that to have such piss poor controls in their experiments, that is a warning sign.
But is it Oxford that are actually failing here, or is it the reporting on what they're doing?
No, that it's
This is why it's so hard to get to the truth, man.
It's the
because
methodology.
you're reading a report about something that's happened,
but it hasn't happened yet. So they've released the methodology of the experiment.
So is the methodology going to be poor, or is the reporting on what the methodology is going to be?
Well, the report
poor?
is based. So
you don't know because it's interpretation of something.
And money based.
Well, not really. In the way that it works is your methodology is what gets changed or control, like to have a control. So there's no placebo control, and there's who they're giving their ivermectin to aren't people that actually have COVID. So how do you control?
But how do you
what
know
the
this?
results are? Because it's in the article.
Exactly, which is someone who's gone to fucking Oxford, spoken to someone from Oxford, and they're reporting.
It was written
on
they're reporting on what the principle of the.
So Oxford themselves published that article.
Yes. No, they spoke to the principal expert. What's his name? Doctor. I can't remember his fucking name. He's called the principal something. Who's the guy who's in charge of the actual experiment? So he's outlined the methodology that they're using, and they're not. It's a fucking free for all.
Exactly. So how do you know they've reported that correctly?
It doesn't matter whether they've.
So you're analysed an article, which is someone's interpretation of what they've been told.
It's an article that's close enough to the source. It was
plenty
written
of
on
articles.
the doctor who's leading the experiment and what he has
Unless
told
you have
them.
an eyewitness account from you personally, how do you know anything's fucking true?
That's that's the argument that I was making. But out of all of this, the point that I was making wasn't ivermectin shit. It was a bit of a stab at how there's no science being applied at all to any of this.
Yeah, you see, I feel like a place like Oxford is not going to do a study like that fucking half-assed.
Yeah, that's my point though. They wouldn't half-ass it, so why are they half-assing it? If anything,
I would probably
it swings
say
me in the other direction to what I was talking about the other day. I'm going, well, what grounds would you have to not do it properly?
money.
Would be money.
Yeah, that's it.
So then you go,
Censorship.
well, so then that and this isn't me saying, oh, look at me backing up my argument from the other day. I was hoping you'd read it and query and fuel a little conversation. So.
I did read it. I haven't read it because
remember.
I was fucking working at the time. I'm like, I can't be fucking.
Well, the point was like it led to a self-diagnosis of what I was looking at and going, okay, well, if an establishment like that, if that was legitimate, isn't going to go through the proper scientific process to either prove or disprove something, is it because they know what the outcome's going to be and they don't want to legitimize it? And in that case, make all of the whole toing and froing in politics for ivermectin become one-sided for a
Josh.
pro or a con?
Ryan was reaching out to us for validation, and we denied him.
It was not validation. He was trying to have a conversation. Fuck, my intelligence and my humor is wasted on you
it's
guys.
12 inches. No. No, look, I get where you're coming from, and I think that there is a lot of corruption in all this, and a lot of it's money-based and kickbacks and blah, 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 and it would just be refreshing to have someone that is like, I'm not getting any money, and this is the study, and this is what it is. I do believe that there's more than one way to skin a cat, so I do believe that, yes, they all may work or they all may be shit. I don't know.
I don't understand what you just said.
Well,
All the different drugs.
all the
But
different drugs.
there's
Like,
too
I'm
many
sure there is a
variables.
drug out there other than
Oh, yeah. So you're saying like there's more than one way to cure it. So
Yeah.
ivermectin may not be it. Yeah. So
yeah,
I thought you were talking about there's more than one way to test whether it works or not. I'm like, no,
no. Like
It
your
all comes down to the
scientific
individual. So
experience.
you want to look at a case study, you look what fucking Joe Rogan just did. He had COVID, but then he spoke about it recently as well. Like he got COVID. He's had ivermectin, and then he's saying, well, that worked for me. But then he also had laid the groundwork of having a good fitness foundation, having all these vitamin IVs that he's fucking on all the time.
Yeah. So
So
it's also anecdotal to have an individual. You need to have
exactly. So
group
maybe
of 3,000
take
or
the
more.
ivermectin out of that. Maybe he would have fucking recovered the way he did
Yeah.
anyway.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's to cover all those bases, you need to use percentage marks, not individual.
Well, you need to have
cases.
a decent study.
So you need to have a controlled study with a placebo, a control group, and you need to have everyone who is not in the control group being analyzed and been administered in the same way. So if you have COVID symptoms but not COVID, that's just a bullshit excuse.
One thing that they're not doing is trialing ivermectin against these other vaccines in the same study.
What do you mean? Well, how would they do that?
So you're getting a group of people and say you've got 25% on placebo, 25% on fucking ivermectin, 25% on what's the jab?
I don't think you can do it accurately because people are individuals
They
and they
all
respond differently.
Yes,
Yeah, but
and that's part of going to the doctors, man. The doctor needs to go, oh, you're a fucking fit individual. Maybe this works better for you.
Okay, so there's no like blanket fucking cure.
I don't.
If it has to be
There's
tailored,
no
That's what I was
blanket
saying.
cure for
That's what I was
very
saying about
much out there.
percentages. So it's not about it's about the general populace and making sure that within the study you're grabbing enough of the general populace to have the variables mostly accounted for inside of that, which is why the bigger the study, as in the more people that are in it, usually it's a 3,000 people is considered a small study for something like
I don't
this.
even think that any of the studies are hitting 3,000 people.
They're not. There's only one that was, and that was the one that got withdrawn. Because,
Johnson & Johnson.
No, it was. I can't remember who it was. There's a lot of small ones that became amalgamated, and then that data was used and applied as
like
one.
a whole. Yeah.
Which and then, but then the one that accounted for most of the results in that was the one that was fraudulent. So all of the papers that referenced that had to be withdrawn, and now they're reanalyzing it and they're going to re-release it. So it's anyway. We've fucking strung this out.
Yeah,
let's kick on.
Look, that's our fucking weekly fucking update on Shipford.
I mean, we could keep going, but we should
Let's
probably
not,
move on.
because I'm about to fall asleep.
We're half hour in.
Oh Jesus!
We need to get to our topic.
Righto. Well, our topic for today is drum roll, please.
No. There you go. That's all I got for you.
Make hunting great again.
Ooh, boom.
Do you know? I think that just because we have obviously flogged that line, the recent Australian political parties have taken that line on as well. Have you been receiving the junk mail?
Specifically, make hunting great again.
We'll
No,
make Australia.
great again.
Because it was a fucking Trumpism.
Oh no, that's
Make America
that's what I was-
great
That's
again.
my point.
Actually,
I'm
I Googled, when I was doing research, I Googled that, and that was one of the links that was tied in was make America great again.
I'm getting a text message from some motherfucker who's in some political race going, go make Australia great again, blah, blah. And I'm like, how the fuck did you get my number?
So send us all to jail for stealing bread and then release us on a continent. Yeah, sick.
What?
That's how Australia was great, motherfucker.
Convicts.
Do you know what the percentage of do you know what? I'm not even going to
Oh,
bother.
fucking.
Oh
even gonna
my
bother.
God. We are a penal colony.
Stop analysing.
I'm not even going to
everything.
bother. Read a history book, bro.
Why am I camp mum? And he fucking analyses everything to an inch
I
of
just
life.
want to give him $300 to shut the fuck up.
Yes. He'd be rich.
For those playing at home who are interested, Google how many convicts versus how many free people were dropped off at Australia.
Well, the states that were started as convict states, we live in a state that wasn't, South Australia.
We were started by the
People
Germans.
came here.
The Germans. It was before World War II.
The
When
Germans.
everything went to shit, went to scheiße.
We weren't started by the Germans. It was just a lot of Germans that came here.
Yeah, okay.
We have German
yes,
towns.
Yes.
Like
We had,
We also
Condor.
have Chinatown.
I think every fucking
Everywhere has
Every-
a Chinatown.
Is there a Chinatown in China, or is it just town?
Don't laugh at that shit. Fuck me.
Brazil nuts. What are they called?
Just nuts.
Nuts. No, that's fucking true. Is there a Chinatown in China? Or is it just called town?
It's called the CBD. Beijing.
And does it say made here on all of their products?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it would
That
still say
almost
made
went
in
all over
China.
your fucking white tablecloth.
It'd still say made in China. Like Australian products say made in Australia.
Wow. Again,
Camp
my
mum.
humour is wasted on you.
No, that was That was clever, and yeah, you just like
No, it's boring.
You just shut on it.
But I think you
just
did raise a,
dropped a
valid,
Mard
a
Deuce on
valuable
him.
point there, Josh. I have a white tablecloth and we're drinking red wine.
Every week, and I'm pretty sure I spill some every week.
Do you know what? It's actually
The stains.
It's curtain backing and it's double sided, so I can flip it over, then fold it in half, and flip it over again, and then flip it over again.
Like
There's some
wearing
sort
your
of-
undies when
Exactly
you're out
right.
hunting
There's some
instead
sort
of
of
taking
plastic
10
in this.
pairs. Anyway, I'm gonna just get us along here. So
Get along.
make
there.
hunting great again. When I was thinking about this the past week, I pretty much just wanted to ask you both, what the hell would you do specifically in Australia to make hunting great again? Now, there's heaps of avenues you can take on this, but I wanted to know what your opinion is. Actually,
Well, you're sort of touching a little bit on what I want to talk about as well.
Fuck, I think we're all going to touch dicks here.
yeah, it's a three-way dock. All right, so what would you do to make hunting great again in Australia?
Semi-automatics.
Fucking A.
I'll just agree.
Oh, geez, that's all right.
Do you know
let's
what?
quick,
No,
let's move on.
that's actually not my answer. That,
No,
that was a quick one. It was funny.
I think firstly, South Australia, public land.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Fucking A.
And then also somehow fix. I mean, it's part of the journey we're on, but the community of hunters and how they interact with each other, I think, could be better.
I agree. There is, and we've spoken about this before, there's a huge divide between the ways in which we hunt as a community, from spotlighting to running dogs to whatever. That needs to be banded together and have a united front. I 100% agree. Just jumping back to state forest in South Australia, do you think that's actually going to happen? And if, what are the pros and the cons that you think that come out of hunting state, like allowing state forest to be hunted under permit?
I mean, I don't know. I can't see it happening anytime soon in our state, unfortunately. As much as I wish it would, I don't see it happening anytime
Do you think
soon.
that because it's like geographically, so most of our prime hunting land in South Australia, in the Adelaide Hills, is surrounded by towns, and it's quite populated, and realistically, our crown land or our national parks aren't all that big in comparison to other states.
but-
Having said that, we have all hunted in Victoria, and we've hunted blocks from, I think the smallest was 150 hectares to a couple thousand. And once again, there's some of the crown land in Victoria is situated in between densely populated towns. Densely.
I think the lay of the land is like there's valleys as well. There's a lot of that to plan it, but on that, there is a very small group of people that have the licenses to hunt those lands in South Australia,
In SA, yeah.
and they are intergenerational. I'm talking like
Yeah.
they get passed down from father to son. I was working with a mate, with a guy that was part of one of those families, and it's like a family thing. And he's telling me stories about the deer are so dense that he'd go hunting with the car and literally would run them, not purposefully, but they would jump out, he'd hit them, they'd throw them in the back, and he'd clean up a full ute. Just
by driving.
Just by driving. And we're talking about like the SA water reserves as well. Anywhere
So like around our reservoirs.
around our reservoirs, but there's a great deal of land that's associated, or not associated, that is part of that. It's all fenced off, and you've got a lot of deer country, which is near us. We can't touch it as hunters at all, and there is 2, maybe 3 people that have the licensing for that, and they can go out.
Is it I do wonder if it's licensing or if it's just
It's a boys' club.
you're in with the right people in the council.
It's who you know. It's all who you know. It's the same. It's the same as the whole SSAA thing with the helping the farmers thing. Like, it's anything to do with shooting and guns and the prime real estate that you want to get on, you have to know the right people and just be in that group. Otherwise, you're not going to get a shoe in.
Yeah, in our state. Think about the size. Like I've only hunted public land in Vic. You've done New South Wales as well, Josh.
Yep.
I know. Oh, yeah.
And I've done no, that was private land in Queensland.
Yeah. So think about the population of Vic, which is like 3 times as much as us for the size of Victoria compared to SA.
Yeah.
We have a lot of desert though with not much about.
Yeah, but also...
But you could open up a lot of the middle of South Australia to manage camels and wild dogs quite well, actually.
Exactly. Like the north of our state, there'd be fucking camels and wild dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
South Australia has always been behind the 8 ball with this sort of thing, with everything from revegetation to like management of natural resources, like that sort of. We are considered, I mean, I feel like we have the reputation of being the sleepy state, really.
Definitely, yeah. We're definitely like, they say Australia's 10 years behind the States and then SA is like another fucking 5 years.
If we have the same infrastructure that Victoria had and if we got the infrastructure they have and transplanted it directly to South Australia and ran it that way, it would be the absolute fucking bee's knees. If as a hunter, you could just pull up a map and go, yep, I'm allowed here, I'm not allowed there. No worries.
The only downside to South Australia is that there wouldn't be that much national park or public land available in prime hunting country, which is, let's face it, the southeast of our state or Adelaide Hills.
Look,
there wouldn't be that much national
I agree,
park.
but
Like we don't have an equivalent of the Alpine National Park.
No, not in size.
That's true.
Not in size,
but we do have. We're overrun with deer.
Look, that comes back to not in size, but that we have like things like Mount Crawford, Gawler Goldfields, etc., etc. Yes, they are small parcels of land, but the topography allows you to be able to shoot very, very safely because you are shooting into a hill. Now, this once again comes down to a bit of like shooter's education, not shooting on top of a crest, things like that, but into a hill and having a backstop.
What's killing it though? Is it because those areas you just mentioned are used for other recreations like camping?
This is the other thing.
Bushwalking?
If you've noticed, in Victoria, they do close down their parks in what you'd call, I guess, like peak seasonal times where families are going away and going on holidays and school holidays.
And the huntable land doesn't go right up to fucking camping areas either.
No. And look, and most people are not going to venture very far from those camping grounds. And those hardcore people that do, you know, if they're mixed with hunters, well, you simply have a hunter-safe course to do to get your license to do it and manage it that way. See, at the moment, the other thing that pisses me off at the moment, South Australia spends, now I did have the number in my book and I didn't bring the book with me today, but it spends a astronomical, I think it's about $200,000. It's like every 5 days to do aerial culls. It's fucked.
Wow.
It is fucked up the amount of money that they spend, man.
And they've got so many hunters sitting at home.
Oh,
Don't
fuck.
don't quote me with that.
Now,
That number,
I'm
please.
specifically thinking there is a national park, and you know where I'm talking about, Josh, right next to a property we're familiar with, where they recently culled like 700 fucking deer.
Yep.
Like if that particular area was opened up, holy shit.
And that is such a waste because that deer, if you got your average hunter in there, instead of it just being shot and it drops where it lies and then see you later, all that resource would have been taken home and fed people.
And
That fucks me off.
the biggest thing as well is the government wouldn't be paying someone to do it. They would be getting paid for
Tag system.
for fucking a sport, and that could generate a lot of
tags
revenue.
necessarily. I think tags are a bit fucked.
Even if it's just a
I think just your permit every year.
Whoa! Let's fucking put the reins on that.
He's fucking throwing the gauntlet down.
What are
isn't
you
he?
pulling the handbrake up for?
What do you mean tags are not a good idea?
No,
See,
okay, species specific, right?
no. I actually believe that you should have to get a license, and still a tag system is a good thing because it's another control measure of how many deer get taken a year.
I think the word
And
you're
that
looking for there is data
sustainable.
collection.
No, it's
No,
sustainable.
there should still be a management, but I don't think you should have to go through the rigmarole. So in Victoria, like our only comparable thing is Victoria, right? So you only need tags for hog deer. Everything else, fucking fill your boots.
Yeah, but
but
that's generated on there's a fucking large population. And I don't think that's right, because you could go out, say if you have public land, you could go out in a season and get fucking 50 deer each. Yeah, look, you're keen, but is that necessary? No.
Well, no, because
is
you're
it
not-
necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile and I like the fucking taste. Like,
What an analogy. What a fucking long bow you're drawing there. All right, no, by that logic, you are correct, because as an individual, I don't need to shoot 50 deer a year, do I? Because I'm not going to eat that much and I'm not going to distribute that meat.
there will be people out there that take
There will be
advantage of
fucking
it.
morons out there that would do that, yes.
So simply adding a tag system, and I'm not talking about making it fucking $600 a tag on top of your license. I'm talking about going over to the counter, fucking chucking down $30, or even if it's fucking free.
No, that
But
should
you
just
actually
be,
have to go there.
your
to get a
permit
tag.
per year allocates you,
or that as well.
right, two of this, two of that, two of that, two of that.
Yeah.
Right? That's,
Or that as
If
well.
you get tags
that's
with
what you
that.
get in your permit
Or
allocation.
that
per
as
year.
well. Yeah, either or the rule.
What I don't
Management of our
want,
land.
all right, so I'll qualify my statement a bit better. What you've said, yes, I agree with 100%. You have to manage things. What I don't want is the rigmarole of like lottery systems. Oh, am I going to get
Nah.
it? Am I going to get tags for 2 fallow this year?
Not a lottery
Like,
system. Just
no.
a tag. You go buy your tags. That's it. You go spend the money.
We're
you
not-
spend
I don't
15
think
bucks.
So then it should just be part of your permit. You should have
I don't think
an
we're at a
allocation
lottery.
of what you can take per year.
I don't think we're at a lottery stage yet. I do think that maybe paying $30 for a tag in specific like parcels of Crown land. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
If it's a small area with a high population of something and every fucking dickhead's going to want to go there,
Well, yeah, especially if
maybe.
it's central. Yeah, and I believe that, and obviously that's going to then be reflected in the price of the tag.
Like,
not
alright,
astronomical,
for
but I
example-
certainly would pay $100 a tag to hunt, say, I don't know, some of the prime spots in the Adelaide Hills.
say for example, Gawler Goldfields became huntable land, public land to hunt. Could you imagine how many fucking people would go there?
And this is where a tag system for that
You'd control it.
specific area would be good, because they can say, okay, well, the tags are open. There's fucking 50 allocated. So maybe a lottery in that case is warranted.
Yeah. The other upside to tag systems as well is that's real data that the government can collect as well. So they can, in a way, monitor how many deer are being taken. They've got a rough idea of how many species are out there. They can regulate the population better with an open tag system where you go to the post office, you pay $15 for a fallow tag, you go out, and then you
that doesn't help their other objective where they cull deer in other areas.
Well, the idea is
where they
that
want
The
as many
idea
gone
is-
as possible.
No, the
That's-
idea is to abolish culling, period.
and then you'd,
On a
but
state
you'd be
level.
regional. So if you had a tag system, you'd be regional. So you'd be able to be like, you'd say, this tag was taken on this spot. Because in Victoria, and in New South Wales, and I think in Victoria they do as well. I get phone calls all the time from the agencies over there saying, "Did you go hunting? What did you get? What?" They collect all this data.
Yeah, in
and that-
New South Wales, you have to put it down,
They're
man.
big on it, and I think it's a fantastic idea because number one, it keeps people accountable.
Yeah, fucking
and number
oath.
two, it collects real-time data that they can use, and they can control populations a lot better by having that. And they don't have to get a stupid amount of aerial culls done and wasting all this money and resources.
So we have a sustainability then, and
Absolutely.
we have opportunity for recreational hunters.
And that is it.
And
Yep.
we have usability. You know, the meat is not getting wasted. Now, we all know for a fact, just jumping onto that topic, that some of the aerial culls have in the past fudged their numbers.
Absolutely, they have.
Yep.
Anyway, that's you. Mine would be to make hunting great again. I would say suppressors.
Well, that would certainly help some of us.
I think that is a little too
That's
late
like,
for
no,
you,
that's
Josh.
fucking salt on the wound, bruh.
I think that's funny.
Yeah, look, suppressors I don't think is going to fucking make hunting great again. Holy fuck, man.
Shit. Okay, fair enough.
All right, I'm going to move on and pass the fucking handball to someone else.
Pass the baton. Now, make hunting great again implies that it was once great.
Oh fuck! You guys have stolen my lines.
No,
eh?
fuck you. This is why you're third. All right. I mean, is it not great now? I don't think it's as good as it could be. But let me take you back to the 18th century when. All right, I'm talking about Australia specifically, right? So, the 18th century, the Europeans have rocked up here, right? Now we can talk about indigenous hunting till we're blue in the face, but I don't. That was for practical purposes, right? So they hunted to eat. So, and they were quite sustainable about what they did. And I was reading
nomadic.
They were nomadic, yeah, and I was reading up about a lot of their practices as well, which sometimes just involved lighting a fucking big ass fire and flushing game out.
Yeah.
But then, and people go, "Oh, that's so like devastating and whatever." But populations actually of animals actually doubled and tripled in those areas because the fires cleaned everything out, and then new species were generated in the same areas.
How would they know that?
New species or new generations of animals?
No, new species like then existed in that habitat because new
they'd
plants grew and whatever. So
and you'd
they-
flush out the predators, and then there'd be the prey would come in, and
Yeah,
because
so
there's no predator, you'd change
so
the
new
ecosystem.
prey came into those areas, and then the predators thrived because all of a sudden there's extra stuff to prey on. So anyway, that aside, right? Take yourself back to the first fleet. You've just arrived.
Arg! Oh, wait, they weren't pirates, were they?
European.
You probably got fucking scurvy or some shit, but yeah.
Hoist the mainsail, first lad.
So I mean, what did happen was the Europeans rocked up here in Australia, and they've gone, cool, let's get around the hunting. Yep, kangaroos, dingoes, ostriches. Not ostriches, fuck me.
Emus.
Wow.
Emus even.
Un-Australian.
For like a bit of plumage and, you know, put a feather in my hat, whatever. And that got old pretty quick. So what did? They brought all their fucking things that they were used to.
Foxes.
Deer, pigs, foxes, rabbits, and spread them around the place
Yeah.
for hunting purposes. So I'll ask you the question. If you've just stepped off the boat in the 18th century, what would you do? Would you introduce species or would you just keep it au naturel?
I feel like back then I'd be like, fucking go, my fucking cottontail little rabbit.
Because, you know, the
Be
indigenous
free.
way of hunting was specifically for being able to eat, whereas the European style of hunting was, yes, for food, but also sport.
Look, if we're going to be honest, like most of that indigenous hunting was coastal and most of it was seafood. We didn't, and we don't have a lot of animals here in Australia.
So when the Europeans rocked up, we had no big game at all.
Yeah, we had, like, when you think about it, our buffalo is a Eurasian buffalo.
It's introduced, yes.
Your camel is introduced. Your donkeys introduced. Deer introduced. All the species of deer introduced. So, you know, your rabbits introduced. Foxes introduced. And foxes clearly were just for sporting purposes.
So
Although one farmer that we do hunt on did say to us one day, if we get hungry, we should try eating a fox.
I would eat
And
fox.
a galah, actually.
No, thank
That's beside the point.
Not
I
interested.
would definitely try a fox as long as you don't cop a gland or anything. How you going?
So this is my question to you. Would you do what the Europeans did and just introduce all that shit and we'd be hunting what we do today? Was there any other species? Bearing in mind that it's a delicate ecosystem.
That's, I think, adapted quite well to the introduction.
But initially the
know.
deer actually didn't do very well. So it took a while for them to establish. In certain areas, like hog deer were a really down like southeastern Victoria mostly, and that's where they were first introduced, and they haven't really spread too far, let's be honest. So
Most across the coast.
certain
through there, aren't they?
species have done well in certain areas, but you know, would you do what the Europeans did then, or would you bring something a bit more exotic across? Would you bring a larger predator? You could potentially fuck up the whole ecosystem.
I think they didn't bring enough. I think they could have fucking brought nilgai. They could have brought fucking kudu. They could have brought fucking lions and fucking tigers. I reckon bring more.
I'd be interested to know if there was any other species that were introduced that failed and died out.
Ooh, that would
require
outstanding.
some more research.
That is
But
outstanding.
bearing in mind, it wasn't Americans that colonized Australia; it was English.
Yeah, the pompous fucking
So they've
Poms.
just bought everything that they're used to hunting across. If it was
See,
Americans,
I feel like that they should have had a broader scope, because obviously they colonised India at that stage. That was a part of the monarchy. So I think they should have brought more plains game here. And actually, there's a rather large parcel of land here in South Australia that's well known in the hunting community, and it's a Brinkworth property. And they have things like black buck down there. They actually have some small African plain game down there. He did try to mate 2 zebras, but apparently the male was barren. So he spent like a couple $100,000 getting them here, and you know, old fella couldn't live up to the hype. But
but they're things that suit. So African and Australian, you'll probably get away with similar climates in part. Like, could you bring American game here? Could a moose?
I think
could a
elk and I think elk could adapt possibly quite well. Maybe in some of our
Probably in the
climates
high
where
country.
they're colder.
Yeah.
And
So, like-
and well, we actually see a lot of hybrids, and there are some elk kicking around in the Adelaide Hills and the southeast of South Australia. There's a lot of hybrids, but there are a few elk kicking around as well.
could a moose population survive here? I don't know.
Maybe.
I think they probably need a bit colder.
It'd be nice if we could get. I think coyotes would do well, very, very well. They go from the extreme hot and cold, and do well.
It's all something 200 years down the track. We go, all right, well, this is what we're stuck with hunting, but
What would it mean to our Would they fuck our ecosystem up?
potentially you just don't know.
But from lessons learned, I mean, we've introduced a lot of species that have done well and haven't fucked our ecosystem.
Like what?
So maybe we could just be like, oh yeah, what
What's been introduced that hasn't fucked an ecosystem?
do you mean? What's fucked our ecosystem out of what's been introduced? I don't actually know the answer to
Well,
this.
there's a lot of
Pretty much every invasive species that's ever been introduced has altered the ecosystem.
because they put extra
but
pressure on the
what-
native species, man. So like
okay, yes,
bilbies,
yeah,
bilbies,
all right.
like so cats fucked bilbies.
Okay, yep.
All right,
I get that.
We don't have a Tasmanian tiger anymore because people hunted the fuck out of them.
I don't think that was a introduction of an
So,
invasive
no,
species
it was because
problem.
in the introduction of invasive species doesn't just impact prey,
Food
and
chain,
predator. It fucks with the ecosystem and the food chain,
Exactly. So if you take away something that it eats, then that gets fucked.
especially if it's predatory. So something like a cat that is not really going to be susceptible to anything hunting it.
So I'd love to
I
hunt
do
some-
feel like that we were the burden on the Tasmanian tiger.
I think it was mostly us that fucked it.
Yeah,
But-
I don't think it was anything that we introduced. Having said that, like, this is a good point. Maybe we should go back to the old Google and
well, it's funny that you say that.
oop.
So I'm just
He's holding a phone.
I'm holding a phone. So there's like the obvious introduced species of animal that we're aware of. So you've got the European rabbit is the worst impact on environment out of everything. The next,
See, I'm thinking more from plant life. I didn't actually think about it from a native
chain.
species
the rabbit
issue.
destroys plants, and then that in turn fucks with herbivores' dietary like they can't eat because it's not there, so they move on.
Anything
or
that eats something that something else normally eats.
Yeah, and then they become weak because there's no food source, which means they become easy prey, which means their species gets wiped out.
Was a herbivore.
Herbivore is an animal that eats.
What was like in Australian history?
So
what
there's
was a herbivore?
I can't.
Most
call up to a
marsupials
specific
are
one.
herbivores. So most of our animals were marsupials, like kangaroos.
Are they omnivores?
Omnivores
Would
is
they
something that eats.
Kangaroos, yeah, obviously not. But
Kangaroos, no. Koalas,
like
no.
the bilbies and things like that. Would they scavenge carrion?
Meat as well as plants. Well, here's one that you hadn't thought of. Do you know what the lantana is?
A plant.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an introduced species, and it has.
Are we
it is.
are we moving to plants as well as animals?
Well, it's funny you say that because the lantana is on par with the detrimental effect it's had on its ecological environment as the red fox.
There you go.
A plant because it has it's like a thick, it's like dense as fuck, and impenetrable thicket is what it's referenced as, which means nothing else can go around it. Kills off all the fauna around it.
So I can understand that from a plant, invasive plant issue, but
it's an ecosystem is so easy to fuck with. All we have to do,
in that case,
especially if you look over a length of time.
So that's the biggest thing, man. We weren't around in the 1800s personally. So how do we see the difference? Did Australia look different?
Climate, maybe we've been a bit different.
I mean, from an invasive species, sort of an animal invasive species.
If you're talking about invasive animals, all you got to do is go north and look at the development there and look what humans have done.
Okay, yes, we're the worst invasive species.
How different does it look now to when you were a kid? And that was like the progression from bushland to farmland, which is what it was when we were kids, and now there's a billion fucking houses down there.
Are you saying we're the invasive species?
Absolutely. And that's not to get on the high horse and be like, oh, humans are fucking destroying ecosystems and contributing to global warming, because I think the planet's temperature changes anyway.
We've certainly fucked the ecosystem more than anything else has.
Especially like localized ecosystems for sure. I think that we could be doing more. Like there's programs that exist that hang on a second.
That's 8. That's 8. It's a tawny.
I love how you've just made us pause for you to have a sip.
That's a tawny.
What am I drinking?
What are we fucking drinking?
Bookmark tawny.
Oh, that's a $9 bottle of tawny that I bought at a bottle in Whyalla.
Oh, jeez. It's a bit bitey.
Yeah. So was the barman.
Tastes like a leather book.
Oh, I think that's
what it says on the label.
I think
Well,
it's
it's
fine.
called bookmark. It tastes like a fucking book.
I think it's fine.
Anyway, what I wouldn't mind is some bigger carnivores, because all we've got is fucking foxes.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, like
Some bears,
jazz it up a bit and get exciting and bring some
bears
fucking,
or some pumas. Some pumas.
Pumas. It's really it's funny. The only
Quickly, sorry to
Wait,
interject.
look at him.
you're so
Do you
excited.
believe the whole, and this is around the world a common theme, the whole, the circus fucking lost a giant cat, broke out of the circus that was travelling around. Do you believe that there are big cats in Victoria?
What the fuck are you talking about?
As in like the giant,
God.
as in
Like
the
a fucking puma or a fucking
jaguar or some shit.
jag.
oh yeah,
Panther. Panther is the word we're
Panther.
thinking.
That's
Panther.
it.
Yeah. There's a panther that escaped from a circus that was over there. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed is this is a common theme throughout the world where where circuses have misplaced animals.
It's the most plausible thing, isn't it? Oh, someone brings over an exotic animal and it escapes.
Not
Oh.
in Texas, because like
photos
rich
all-
people just fucking like import in fucking big cats as a pet. And
Yeah,
then they're
like
"Oh,
in America,
fuck."
whatever. There's probably an escaped fucking pet
a
tiger.
cyclone happens and a tiger fucking
Where
escapes.
exactly is this supposed to have happened?
There's
Victoria.
reported sightings
Where in
everywhere,
Victoria?
but the photos are always fucking grainy as shit.
Did you see the Sporting Shooter magazine one year and it
Yeah,
had
I
that
did.
giant cat? Man,
Yeah.
if that's a cat, oh fuck. Oh
I have no doubt that
Fuck.
there's like remnants of
fuck. And, no, have you seen the photo?
I've seen the photos, man.
Fuck.
But then you look at some others, and it's just like that's a fucking house
Man,
cat.
I've shot big cats before where I could not put my hands around its neck. My dad has very, very large hands and he couldn't either. And the fangs on the fucking thing, man, like they protruded the
there's
bottom,
still part of the
bottom
genetic
gum.
part
like,
of the genetic pool still exists for the giant fauna that were in
bro, I've shot big
Megafauna.
megafauna. That's
cats
the word
and-
I'm looking for.
And it was nothing like this cat that was hanging from the fucking tree.
Yeah, but then you got crossbreed and all kinds of shit that goes. I have no doubt there is like, and this is that whole Darwin's theory with survival of the fittest, where you're going to have these anomalies that exist in the game world that every now and then, as a hunter, you're going to come across that sort
Yeah,
of
of
thing.
course.
Well, it's
Like
also
most-
about food. Like actually, with that, like when you look at crocodiles and Nile crocodiles compared to our crocodiles, Nile crocodiles have a tendency to be bigger because the food that they're eating is a lot larger, and that's as simple as that. I mean, you know, our crocs are taking. Yes, our crocs can get big because they can be taking cattle and things like that, but their average things they're taking are birds here in Australia. Whereas
Really?
in the
I
Nile,
didn't know that.
It's
The average
Yeah,
diet
that-
of a crocodile is birds.
birds and small animals.
Fuck, that have to be eating a lot of birds.
Well, when you think about it, we just don't have. It's not like Africa where they have like
Yeah,
an abundance of large animals. We have relatively small animals. I mean, the biggest thing they're going to take where they live is cattle. And how often does that happen? It may happen quite often. I don't know, but in the grand scheme of things, no, not that much. And if you're not eating that much protein, you're just not getting that big.
You'd know about that.
Mate, don't make me take my shirt off, bro.
No one's making you. But you were correct. Like the average feral cat we shoot is a fuck ton bigger than a normal house cat. So
Yeah, man.
That's diet
there's,
though. Again.
there's nothing
Yeah.
to say that, you know.
I shot a ginger as a kid, man, and this thing was like, it
Was
was
it-
bigger than my sister's fucking fox terrier.
What was his name?
And I shot a ginger cat.
Again, my humor is wasted.
Yeah, that was
it's
terrible.
wasted because it's never funny.
It is hilarious. There is someone.
Can we have a
There is
poll
someone
on who's the
listening
funniest?
in their car right now
Seriously?
that got that joke and laughed at it. And that person, whoever you are, please write in to Send It Mate on Send It Mate Instagram, Send It Mate Podcast on Instagram, and let me know how funny I am because I need a little support.
Because he needs some
I need some
support.
support. I need a little bit of a pick me up.
The silverback gorilla has just exited
He just
the
got up and
building.
fucked off.
He
I
did.
don't
He
know what
just
he's
got
doing.
up and he's like, "Oh, I got to piss." I actually don't reckon he can drink as much as he used to.
Fucking oath he can't. He's a lightweight.
He's starting to get a bit of a pussy.
And
Is he
Cal-
going to listen to this and
Absolutely
edit
is.
it out?
Caleb, I know you're listening to this right now. You're a fucking Cadbury.
Oh shit! For those
And if he-
playing
if
at
he-
home, he's just gone.
I'm
to
going to
piss.
listen to this episode to see if he actually edits that out. Or if he actually
Would
listens
that be
to
your
it.
first episode you've listened to?
No, it'll be the second. No, sorry. I'll listen to half an episode, so it'll be my 0.5.
Oh my god, bro!
Whatever the fuck that is. I ain't got time to listen back. Are you kidding me?
What do you mean,
No, I've got plenty of time. Just can't be fucked.
man?
Do you know,
I've been
I don't-
listening to it at the gym.
You listen to yourself at the gym.
Oi,
Wow.
Like-
Vain much?
like I hope Caleb edits this part out, but I listen to us and I fucking giggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I giggle listening to us. I'm like, fucking hell.
Fuck Ryan's funny.
I have like a good laugh listening to us, man. That one episode I haven't listened to of ours yet is the Tegan episode, which I'm very keen to listen to, and I will do.
Is that because
this
you
week.
weren't on it? You didn't listen to it?
No, look, I was actually behind listening to our episodes before she was on because of working down south. I didn't have reception, and it was quite funny because I was mustering sheep, and I was in the bike. I couldn't listen to it on the bike. In the car, I'd listen to it, but you'd go through like it's really bad. You'd hit like sick reception. You'd be like, "Fuck yeah," and it would buffer, and you'd get like 5 minutes,
Dude,
and then nothing.
Download the episode when you're at reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But you got to.
Know how to- you gotta know how to
I've
do
got
that.
other things to worry about when I get into reception.
Yeah.
Pornhub.
No, like adulting.
It's been a while since we referenced Pornhub.
Pornhub is adulting.
Oh, that's it's teenaging as well, I guess.
Do you know, how rich would the dudes that own Pornhub be?
I don't even want to
It's like-
consider that.
It is like the hub of porn. Very well named.
Interesting.
Anyway, now you're back.
I didn't even want to know what you spoke about while I was gone.
Nah, you just have to listen to it, bro.
Well, I will because I
It's a
listen to everything.
secret.
Will you? Will you?
Every single second of recording, I listen to.
Really?
I really hope you don't edit anything out of this episode.
I'm gonna actually just interject, and this is like completely off topic. So this has taken up a lot of our personal life doing the podcast, as we were saying earlier this evening, and we've all decided to piss off in October for a weekend of camping together. And all I'm gonna do is get fucked up and then get Caleb fucked up.
That's like the aim of it, isn't it?
Because Caleb, look,
'cause
for the
wait,
listeners, Caleb is like, he's like your mother. He's like, oh, don't do that. It's not safe. Oh, don't drink too much. I'm going to get you fucked up, man. I'm going to get you lit.
No.
If the most responsible person in the campsite is fucked up, then you know you're having a
night.
good time. That's
I'm going to get
pretty
you
much it.
lit,
I've
bro.
done my fair share of stupid shit in my time.
No one's denying that, but I'm going to get you lit
It's been a while though, Caleb, hasn't it?
because
It's
I
been a
think
while.
you need it.
Drink responsibly.
You preggers. Dead set. My drink of choice for that weekend is going to be a Long Island iced tea.
That's too much work.
No, it's
Mate,
too much
I'm
work.
just having fucking dirty martinis the whole
It's
time.
too much work, but you'll be getting fucked up.
So you say that now, but in reality, we're just going to be on cans the whole weekend.
Nah.
Do you know what?
Because Josh
Nah,
is just...
because no, we've decided it's themed, so you actually have to fucking go figure out a fucking cocktail, buy the ingredients before we go camping, and fucking take it with you and do it. And we will even have battle of the fucking bartenders.
It's going to be sick.
Yep. This is going to be. You can buy premixed fucking cocktails if you want, but we're all going to be like
Such a camp mum thing to do.
Yeah. I want to see you shaking that martini.
I'm fucking martinis everywhere. And I'm going to speak in a Sean Connery accent for the duration of the night.
Oi, if we can pull off an accent for the night and you don't break character, man, that'd be
Mate,
great.
do you know what? It's on. First
Good luck
person to
to you.
break character does 5 shots.
I'm going to be Russian because I feel like Russian's going
You're
to
going
be
to be
easier.
rushing to the toilet.
Stop laughing at his shit. Fuck me. Drink responsibly.
Where's Josh gone? Don't know, but he's running pretty quick.
Nah, look, you're not that bad, Carl, but I
Oh,
do
thanks.
feel.
Thanks for that bringing endorsement, Josh.
That's all right,
You're not
buddy.
that bad.
I think
You're not
we just
shit,
need
but
a
you're
good
not
time.
great either.
Not that bad.
I think we need a good time.
We do.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a
COVID's changed
slog.
things.
Right, Ryan, have you done your fucking topic breakdown yet?
No, I haven't.
This is dragging like a motherfucker.
Right. So, my take on it was quite similar to both of yours, actually. The whole make it great, make hunting great again, implying that it is not great, and it was. But also.
Was it though? Was it ever really great?
I
In
think,
Australia?
I
No.
think in the 80s, as far as gun laws and your ability to hunt, you were a lot freer in what you could do.
Yeah, but
My father-in-law.
just because you could have a semi-automatic or go hunting with an AK-47, like, should you have done it?
Spoken like someone that's
just
never
because you
run
could,
a semi.
fucking oath, because you
I
can,
don't-
you do it.
I don't doubt it was fun, but was it fucking ethical?
Necessary?
Was it ethical?
Once again,
yes. If you're hunting rabbits, semi-automatic all the fucking
no.
way.
Is it necessary? Do I drink my own pee because it's necessary? No, but it's sterile and I like a fucking taste, mate. Yes, run a semi.
Why are you repeating yourself?
Because.
Look, I don't doubt that it was fun, but I don't think it was particularly
Mate,
ethical.
speaking to hunters that
What do you mean it's not ethical? It's still a
If you're going to go spray a fucking
no.
spray.
Your perception
watching?
of fucking semis is
No.
Hollywooded
I've
up,
spoken
man.
to people who hunted back in the day with an AK-47.
Well, that's not hunting.
But your primary objective as a hunter should be to fucking put something down ethically and quickly and
Yes.
humanely.
Well, and what is an aid that if a animal took off on you, if you could follow up in quick succession, what would the aid be?
So,
All right, semi-auto.
Oh!
I know. I'm specifically saying people that went and hunted with AK-47s back in the day when you were allowed to. Do you think? Yes, probably what they were doing, if I'm honest, was fun, but was it ethical? Probably not.
Yes, and it probably was more ethical than trying to run a bolt gun.
do you know what?
Animal that's
The
moving.
argument comes down to science. So, when you're shooting, right? So it's that whole multitask thing that no one can actually fucking do because you have a single process brain, but that's a different thing. When you're lining up to take a shot, right, you've got muscle memory, but you've also got concentration on what it is that you're aiming at and pulling the trigger. You're breaking that concentration to grab your bolt and rack it and then realigning yourself and resetting your concentration. Your brain does not go back to the same level of concentration as it was at before. Whereas if you're just looking down the scope, all you got to do is squeeze. Looking down the scope, all you got to do is squeeze. You have better accuracy purely from the concentration
follow-up.
element for follow-up.
Fucking oath. And
And not even follow-up. That's like multiple
that's probably the
targets.
smartest thing you've ever said, Ron. Holy fuck. Did you just black out?
God. Again, my talent and my intellect is wasted. I'm going to start my own fucking podcast.
Nah, don't.
Fuck you guys.
It wouldn't be the same without you, man.
Pack my balls up and leave.
You're right, bro. 100%. That couldn't be said any better.
I mean, that's why I am definitely pro semi because
Look, you try and get it in one shot, yeah, but it doesn't always happen.
But I mean, there's people that shoot from the hip with a fucking bolt action. There's always going to be those nufties.
Oh, yeah.
There is, and this feels like the argument that you're using for people that were like, "Oh, it was ethical, was it not?" Yeah, you know what?
Well, we weren't
I
around
like-
back then, so we don't know.
No, we don't. But I would like to think
I do
that
know
the
because
same people
I've
would
run a
be
semi.
hunting unethically with bolt actions that would be doing it unethically with semi-automatics. And your argument there could be,
but then we're also sitting there allowing as a nation and a state aerial culls with semis,
Which is a bit of a
and
fucking
that's
joke, really.
ethical. So okay,
yeah, where's the follow-up shot there?
where are you sort of sitting on this? Should choppers be running bolt guns?
No, I'm simply
There's-
asking what's our ultimate objective here. If it's just to have fun, fucking go for your life.
I think it's more
if your
convenience.
personal objective is to be ethical and put something down straight away, then
But you know that as a hunter, not every situation
No, it's
plays out the perfect way.
100%.
And if
And
you
sometimes
just
you miss.
had to-
Sometimes you accidentally just injure something and then you have to put it down.
And so if
It's
you
not always
had
one
a
shot.
follow-up shot as quick as possible and that cuts seconds down from racking a bolt, wouldn't you think that's ethical? Yeah,
Yeah.
you would. So therefore, semis,
I mean, in my lifetime, I've never had the opportunity to try, have I? So I don't know. From first-hand experience, I haven't tried, have I?
I actually feel like
Because
you're
the gun
coming
laws
around the
changed.
semis.
No, the gun laws changed in 1996, which is before I started fucking hunting.
Yeah, look, and you know, most people these days, especially young shooters, they're not going to know what it is like to shoot a semi, and that's fine. And look, there's no argument that semis need to be controlled. All weapon systems need to be controlled to a point.
I think it's just if you can have the same approach of sense to a firearm that you would a bolt action, a semi-automatic, a fucking grenade launcher.
You can shoot a fucking cow with an RPG in Thailand.
I know, but there's an element of sense that needs to be applied to it and recognizing the danger that's associated with handling the tool. There's gonna be people that are just fucking stupid.
Oh, people
doesn't-
will
it
misuse
doesn't
anything.
matter.
People misuse cars, and everyone's allowed
That's
a car.
right. Exactly right. And so I have to think to myself that there is a greater majority that have that sense about them than there is the minority. There's the minority fucks up and it ruins it for everyone. It's definitely applied in this situation. But I'm definitely a believer in people should be able to do what they want to do with most things as long as they're not hurting other people, as long as they're not impacting the choices that other people, like impacting the ability for someone else to have a choice. So
I agree. My only question is, if you have a semi or an auto, are you more or less likely to want to put the time in to do a one-shot kill, or are you more likely to just go, I'll just fucking start shooting at it?
I think the same principle would apply
Okay.
whether you're running a bolt or a full auto.
Coming from someone that's used both and been young and old.
No, I'm just asking the question.
oh, okay,
Are you
yeah,
more or
so-
less
so-
likely to
so-
put the time in to go, I'm going to shoot this thing in one shot, or am I just going to spray some bullets
So
at it and hope it dies?
Coming from a person that's run a semi and a bolt, both as a young man and an older man, no change. Actually, I would probably say it's even Stevens, man. I put the same amount of effort into every shot, no matter what.
Ethics
But
your
you're-
ethics aren't going to change
but
based
you're-
on the rifle that you're using.
I
No,
don't- I don't-
that's
I'm just-
even-
I'm just-
even-
I'm just asking a question, right? Because in your scenario, that's a life or death.
But
where
hang on,
your
no,
life,
no,
someone can shoot back at you.
That's why I just mentioned as young Josh as well. So when I first joined the army and first got to use a semi, it was the same. So exactly the same. I put in just as much effort, if not actually more, because I almost had something to prove being a young man in shooting. And it didn't even correspond in my head that, I've got 30 rounds, I can just spray and pray. Didn't even cross my mind, man. Didn't even cross my mind to shoot from the hip until the army taught me that it's a thing. To be perfectly honest, the basic level of experience I had, I actually thought when I first was taught to shoot from the hip with a semi, I'm like, this is fucked up. This is not right. I'm like, how are you accurate and how is this safe? Don't get me wrong. There's a little bit of
There's applications for that.
You're
Usually when
right.
you're in a war zone.
Yeah, but no difference. And I was a juvenile, man. I was a fucking young kid, mate.
I think it comes down to
And
No, I'm simply
you know
asking,
exactly
I
how
think
I
it-
was
I think
when I
it
was
comes
a
down
kid.
I'm
to
simply
simple-
asking the question because
It comes.
we're in our 30s and we're in Australia, so we haven't had laws
This
that
is-
have allowed us unless you're in the army.
But this is the other thing. We also haven't had when we were young and hunting, we certainly didn't have the information and the readiness of all this information at the drop of Googling. There certainly was not the education of this is what you shouldn't do and this is what you should do like there is today. We've progressed in times because of technology, and damn, people know right and wrong pretty well. And it's,
I think the answer to your question is embedded in the person's ethics. So there's two types of shooters. You're going to take a shot where you know you're going to get the kill that's going to be clean, or you're going to aim center and mass and cross your fingers and hope for the best. I don't think it matters what type of rifle you're firing for the person in that situation. So you're either going to spray and pray and do the same thing with a bolt action but do it fucking slower, or you're going to take your time and shot placement is key. I don't think someone who is going to have good shot placement and pick their shot with a bolt action is going to change the way they shoot just because they have a semi-automatic in their hands.
yeah, it just changes the speed. Yes, the speed is certainly increased. Now, this is another thing which a lot of people get scared because of Hollywood. Hollywood's made it like, have you ever seen a Rambo movie? That motherfucker doesn't shoulder a weapon. It's all from the hip and he's getting kills left and right. He's racking that fucking body count, mate. I'm telling you now, that ain't real life. That's fucking hard to do. And even when you shoulder a weapon, semi or bolt, and you're at some sort of moving target, it's a different story. It is harder than what you think. And as a shooter, you should know this because you've been in these situations as a hunter, especially. And just because you've got a semi-automatic platform doesn't make it easier. It does mean that if you do critically injure the animal, you have a follow-up shot ethically as quick as possible. And you can do what's called walking on target. So you've shot once, identified your fucking hit, gone, shit, it's too far back, given it enough lead, shot again, ethical, dead.
That is true.
I think we might be starting this way.
I think I do.
I think we're planting the seed
The whole
of doubt.
thing is, I'm not anti-semi. I've just,
but it's funny to
we
run
just
with
like
that
to
line.
paint you into a picture.
you do. You like to fucking try and pigeonhole me.
Anyway, I didn't even get 2 fucking sentences into mine and we digressed. So,
But it's a good digression.
Welcome to Sender Mate Podcast.
yeah, that's how we roll,
Hello, Ryan.
baby. So I was thinking about the whole "make it great again" thing and what was that made it great, and hunting globally, what it means to a man. Like, not like we're going to cut women out of the picture for a second here.
We're allowed to. No, we're allowed to.
We're allowed to.
It's our fucking podcast. We're men.
I would say fuck those guys, but
We identify
Already
as
did,
men. We're
so,
fucking men. Hello.
you know.
Welcome.
So hunting across sort of more tribal and traditional nations has also been a transition. It stamps the transition of a boy to a man, right?
Bruh, you
So-
are on fire.
This sort of got me thinking that whole the word animalistic is the first thing I think of, but that's not the
Talking
right
rite
one.
of passage.
Rite
right
of
now.
passage
Thank
is
you.
probably the word that I'm thinking of. The rite of passage and
right, I
the
am your
segregation
dictionary.
of a boy and a man. And yeah, no, you're cool, bro. You're cool.
See, you fucking malign me at every turn, but bloody, I fucking save your bacon.
Anyway, so I was thinking about how in the modern world that sort of thing doesn't really exist anymore.
Oh, because we got fucking Xboxes,
And-
PlayStations.
Yeah, it's sort of like
Fucking-
I don't think there's this sort of
Well, we were talking about this last week, man. We have been slowly conditioned to accept quick and easy things, right? And with
it's
this, it
gratification,
means
instant gratification
Yeah.
is what we were talking about. That was the topic.
But with this, we've adopted this way, we've lost this way of thinking of where the fuck our food actually fucking comes from.
do you know what? I think
we've
it
lost
goes
learning and earning over time.
Yes, it goes further than that. So we're talking about sort of the immediate history that we've experienced in ourselves. If we go back 20 years ago, it was quite evident within society that we were losing our requirements as men to be strong and to be aggressive and to have those elements that had the differentiation between men and women and the things that they relied on for us to contribute to society in a great way. Technology advancement and sort of economic upturn, I guess, in society, for lack of a better word, has contributed to the downfall in the predominant role the man has played in his home and in society itself, as far as us an individual goes.
Traditional roles.
And not necessarily traditional roles, but the contribution that we make using what differentiates us from women. So our strength, our aggression, all the things that now would be classed as toxic masculinity and all that
dear
sort of
God.
bullshit. And I don't want to dive into that because that's a modern
That's
age
a
thing.
fucking
which is just
cancerous
absolute-
rabbit hole of
it is.
shite.
And it is complete shit. Anyone who is smart and intelligent will not buy into that crap. But I'm not talking about the last 10 years. I'm also talking about the last 20 years and even a little bit further. So there's a guy called Robert Twigger, like Trigger, but with a W, Twigger. He wrote a book called Being a Man in a Lousy Modern World. And if you...
In what year?
He wrote it 20 years ago.
Okay.
Well, roughly 20 years
2001.
ago. I don't know the exact publication because there's been a couple of copies that have been run. So we're talking about... You're just taking the piss now.
No, I've got to piss.
Oh, you've got to piss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on, Ryan can just talk to me. I
Oh,
took a
yeah,
piss.
go on.
I
Go
took a
take a
piss
piss.
break. Go on.
Go on. So what I want to talk about is the impact that hunting has had and how that was a really it was important to people and it was important to the man as an individual. It is important, and the feeling that we get that we've spoken about before as a man going out and hunting, you feel primal, you feel drawn to it. It's instinctual.
It feels like the most manly shit you can do.
It is absolutely. So that is like going back to our roots. It's associated with the part of our brain where the aggression and the strength, the mental strength, and the being able to separate yourself from any emotional content and just focus on the here and now that men are very good at doing. That element of man has been dwindled by society and almost infantized us to the point where it's almost like we're easier to control. I don't think there's a higher power that's contributed to that. I think that just the way that technological advancements and the way that society has gone with the political involvement as well and the woke bullshit has destroyed the traditional man.
It is very disappointing because by design, as a man, you are actually designed to be the stronger one in a male-female heterosexual relationship. You're designed to be the strong one. You're designed to be the one who goes out and hunts. Like if we take away modern society, you're designed to be the one who is the stronger of the two, to go and get the food, as in hunt some fucking big-ass animal, bring it back, do the laborious fucking manual labour tasks,
what we're built
right?
for.
And the females are designed to be more emotional and raise children, bear children, do all that sort of stuff. And you know what? In a functioning relationship, this was like the yin and the yang thing.
I was just going to say that.
Females make up for what we lack in.
Yeah.
And in a good relationship, which I have a good one now, and the things that I'm not good at, she's good at. So we make up for so we complement each other as Josh eats fucking pita
Josh
bread.
has raided my pantry.
Josh has gone for a piss and come back with pita bread. How did that happen? It's got the munchies. Fuck you. Where's mine? Anyway, that's by design how we are. I agree there is a fucking sliding scale of where people sit on how masculine or how feminine they are. So as a male, you can be more feminine. Cool.
And that is perfectly okay.
Whatever. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You can be that way. But I just think fucking society has muddied the waters on that so bad that people are confused. Do you know what? I'm very happy to be a male and to be masculine and to enjoy male pursuits.
Absolutely.
Air quotes, right? And because it makes me feel good and it makes me not confused about who I am and my identity.
Your biological identity as a male, and honestly, if you want to fuck with your bits and cut yourself and whatever the fuck you want to do and change your hormones, that is up to you and more power to you if it makes you feel better. My opinion is that as a male, finding your grassroots and finding who you actually are, not trying to identify as something that you want to be, but discovering yourself and your identity in your ancestral fucking deep down in the gut, the heart of who you are, is that in itself comes with the same territory as what hunting does. And the whole make hunting great again, I'm associating that with that whole manliness And I don't mean that in the sense of the bullshit term that it's applied today. I mean it in the sense of being who you are biologically fucking born to be in all of your essence in relation to what the wild is.
Go back to 200-300 years, right? It was much less confusing.
Oh, it was fucking easy back then because what we've done as humans is we've built a fucking padded cell around ourselves.
We've pandered to minorities way too much.
We have,
and we've given way too much airtime.
Is we've created this padded cell that we live in where if you took that society and you eliminated that padded cell, most of the population would be fucked. They would be torn apart and dwindled down to nothing in a greater sense of the terms. And people don't realize that they are actually living in a bubble. And I always get a little bit of a fucking giggle when all these people that are they say they're pro-animal when really got no fucking idea what they're talking about, and they talk about things of nature and saving the animals and how humans are destroying everything, but they live in a technological bubble that's insulated them from what the wild actually is, which is ferocity, aggression, and violence. And I say the word violence not in the way of going and killing something just for the fucking fun of killing it, but because it's survival of the fittest kill or be killed in what nature is.
It's brutal.
It is brutal. And that is what man is, because man uses everything that is inside of him that's associated with those things or did in the past, to protect his family, to go out and hunt and gather, to build something that was greater than was an animalistic instinct within him. Initially was a great idea. But I think that what we've done is just built this world where we have to go out to find the things that test that part of us. Instead of it being an element of our daily life, we need to go seek the things that bring out that part of that natural instinct of manliness. It's not like even in the it's like testing ourselves.
It's possible to be born a male in this day and age and live in an echo chamber and never experience anything that is like a primal male
challenge.
thing.
To everyone who's listening to this, go fucking test yourself on a primal challenge, which is something that scares the living fuck out of you, something that is a huge endurance thing associated with nature. Go out and test yourself, have the adrenaline dump, have the hormones pump through you, see how you feel and what it is that you feel like doing. If you feel like going and sitting down and watching TV, then you haven't done it correctly. Because we are sitting in this fucking environment that we're not built for. And that, I think, is a huge contribution to the male health epidemic, the mental health epidemic that we're in at the moment, where men can't find anything that they identify with that brings out the aggression and the anger in a healthy way, in a way that is an outlet. Like, and an outlet.
An outlet.
And
outlet is the right word.
I don't mean go and beat the shit out of someone, aggression. I mean go and fucking cut wood. It has been proven scientifically that if an 80-year-old man goes and cuts wood, his testosterone spikes to that of a 30-year-old, and going and jogging does not do that. It is.
Can't flex cardio.
Fuck, you can't. I don't know. I'm very passionate about this, but I think the whole
because I don't think we should be like ashamed of who we are, and that's what fucking society and the media tries to do. Like, oh, you're a white male, therefore you're toxic, and you're gonna by nature
and that's
harm
that's
people. Like, fuck off.
And that's that.
Like, there's
modern
nothing
bullshit.
actually wrong with being proud of who you are.
No, that's not. And I think that the problem that everyone's facing is there's a fine line between doing the work to find out who you are and what because we have two different minds in us in the way that our body functions. We have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, and having the ability to align the two is very difficult if you're coming from a conscious perspective. That's that whole meditation thing, and it's depending on who you speak to, what avenues you go down. There's a bunch of different ways that you can go about it and different opinions. But ultimately, if those two aren't in sync, you have this feeling of not being fulfilled. You don't know what your purpose is.
Yeah.
Purpose is another element that it is a massive contributor to that. But
I think we're not talking about being misogynistic here. We're talking
Absolutely
about
not.
just understanding yourself.
yes, and you cannot want to be something and try to be that something if that something does not align with your values as a person and who you are in your core. And there is a great deal of different things that people would call that with your aura or your chi or whatever the fuck it is, your being centered and that sort of stuff. Ultimately, what you can do is sit down in a room with no other distraction and just think about things and develop your own opinions, not anything that's influenced by any other social media or anything else that you have. Try to understand what works for you and what you agree with, and that will ebb and flow and change throughout your life, so you need to keep doing it. And once you've got that understanding of who you actually are, not a conscious effort of what you want to be, but who you actually are, then you will find peace in that.
I don't think you need to do that in your lounge room. I think you need to go and fucking maybe find a patch of God's green earth and sit in it.
Absolutely. Again, no, it's fucking true.
Fuckers.
It is true. It is,
In
again,
the elements. Not
the
in your
human
fucking living
brain
room,
changes the way that it operates when it's in nature to when it's in a synthetic environment.
Yeah, don't make these decisions sitting in your bedroom, fucking on a
Maybe
computer.
do it on a
But I
fucking
think-
mountain. I really think it boils down to there are not many people in this world that have experienced adversity. And in adversity, you build character, understanding, and what you truly are.
Yeah, you're tested.
And what you want.
I think in adversity, you're tested in what your values are.
And that adversity, in my experience, nature is a motherless fucking bitch. So you want
Yeah.
adversity, you just go fucking
But-
right out.
So
as
I
deep
think
as
that's
you
the
can
most
into
genuine
nature.
/ primal form of adversity. People don't experience
Look, there's
adversity, so they
adversity of
seek it
not-
out or they make it up in their fucking
That's
living room.
Yeah, you're true. That's
So this is the problem here. Like, we've evolved so much as a society, so we're not all exposed to the elements. You can be born in a hospital and then go live your life in a high-rise fucking building in Tokyo and never experience nature.
and that's true. That's why I say go
That's
out
fucking
into
tragic.
nature.
That's what that is.
And experience in the deepest part of nature you can find.
Not everyone. There's some people that have never been camping, never been fishing, never been hunting, never spent never gone on a hike in their life.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we can't sit here and preach people like nature will solve
No,
the
but
problems.
but just because you haven't done it doesn't mean that the opportunity's not there. And if it's not, put yourself in the opportunity to do it. That's not that difficult. I just think, and you're right. Don't conjure up adversity in your living room.
like
you just
being
need to
offended at
experience
something
it.
is not adversity.
No,
You're a
it's
fucking
not.
moron.
Not
Move
paying
on.
your bills on time's not adversity. You know, you want true adversity. If you want to break it right down to the basic elements, be cold when it's fucking freezing and be starving when you haven't eaten for a fucking few days, you know, and you're out in those elements that are just smashing you. And then you've got the animals and the mosquitoes and the bugs that just don't give a fuck about your feelings, and they're still fucking like hounding you.
There's actually
You know,
like something beautiful about removing all the technology and just surviving with like base instincts in the wild. As an
I think
ex- as
I
an
think it's
experience.
because there's nothing that is consistent, that is consistently shit. Like it is
Because nature's
just-
brutal, man. We've spoken about that many times.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, cool. You get a sunny day and you know it's nice, but then just 3 hours later, it's fucking horrendous. You know, and experiencing that up and down is vital, and it's vital to your mindset and to finding out who you are as a person. Anyway, I just hijacked Ryan's fucking shit while he
No,
was
that's
away.
all right.
I mean, I think he's done anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do.
All right. Well, let's move on quickly.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Negligent discharge.
All right, mofos.
That's you. What do you got?
So it's a piece of wisdom and also an ND this week that happened to me. So I'm going away to deer camp this weekend. Whoop! Yeah, boy. So I thought I would quickly go down to my local range to check zero. Oh, this is great. This pissed me
I'm
off.
worried because this is in ND. What's happened?
Bro, it pissed me off because it was so simple, yet it just fucked me for like a good fucking hour. Anyway, I get behind the gun, shoot a fucking group just to check zero. Fucking sick-ass group. I'm like, yeah, shit, yeah. Anyway, because of the scarcity of ammunition at the moment, I couldn't buy any ammo that I usually buy, so I had to change it up. So I was like, and I've still got a little bit of the old stuff that I'm using, and I've been too lazy to reload. So, yeah, joke's on me. Anyway, I thought I'd see where this new stuff is hitting. Anyway, I shoot my first group, and I'm like, fuck, that's not that great. Shit, this ammunition must be crap. I thought, fuck it. I'll just use it for a bit of practice and see what I can get. So I kept putting a few groups down range and wasn't getting any tighter, and it was slowly starting to creep out. And I was like, my barrel's heating up. I'm getting a bit fatigued. And
You're a shit shot.
I haven't fucking shot for a while. I'm just a shit shot. So I was like, fuck, all right, whatever. And so I gave up on this new ammunition, and I went back to my OSA 168 grain Sierras and shot. And it was a good group, but it wasn't as tight as normal. I'm like, oh, what? What's going on? But I was running out of time, so I had to be somewhere. I had an appointment later on in the day, so I was like, fuck, I'll start packing up now and I won't be rushed. And anyway, so I started packing up. I packed everything up except putting the gun in the bag. I picked up the gun, and I have just grabbed the scope, and then the next minute I feel this wobble.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like wiggling the scope, and I'm like, fuck, what is loose? Because it wasn't the rings, it was the bases. The bases were fucking loose.
So you were shooting shit groups. And you didn't check your scope.
Man, like, I honestly actually thought it was just me. I was like, oh, I'm just getting fatigued and just, yeah. And no, the scope was loose. And naturally, because I had just gone out to check zero, I didn't take any tools with me. So I borrowed some tools off of one of the guys at the range, and I've like taken my scope off, nipped my bases up. So I've got a Picatinny rail, 2-piece Picatinny rail as bases, nipped them up, put the scope back on and gone, yeah, fuck, I've really got to see where this is hitting. Thank God I did, because it was hitting 8 inches high after I remounted it. And because I have a Night Force NXA, it's clutch system, so I'm like, fuck, I now have to disengage the clutch to re-zero it to fucking
Was that when
then
I called
engage
you?
the clutch.
Did I call you? And because you said you were fucking around with your scope when I called you yesterday.
Yeah, yep.
You sounded very depressed. That
Man,
makes a lot of sense now.
At that point in time, I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to give up. But I tightened everything up and re-zeroed it and set the zero stop back on it. And she shot fucking amazingly.
Lovely.
I was 0.3 of an inch at 100 metres, and I did not get time to check it at 2, 3 or any other distance. So I'm hoping it's still the same. But it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I think this is because I must have been getting, my mounts must have been getting loose for a length of time. Because the last time we went to Victoria, we checked zero, and I was bang on, if you remember, because you shot a group over my group on the high vis target, and you were like touching. Anyway.
Your tips touch.
Yeah, they did.
Correct.
Anyway, then all of a sudden I started to get like just slowly creep a little bit high off center, to the point where I was probably, and I was like, oh, it's okay, it's only like an inch, high, and I'm like, I just brought it down to a bit of ammunition, and no,
Your scope's been out for how many months?
Oh, look, it's been. I think I don't know, but it was a blessing in disguise because I obviously tightened everything up and then re-zeroed it and brought it back right to center. But yeah, I don't have any Loctite on me yesterday, so I'm gonna have to redo it all with a bit of Loctite. But that's all right.
This is why I like my one-piece mount.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
No,
Sick burn.
I have a one-piece mount.
Sick burn, bro.
your mounts can still get loose, motherfucker.
Well, it hasn't fucking moved.
Oh, because you've shot like 5 rounds.
5.5.
The thing is fucking rock steady. DNZ, Game Reaper.
All right. What do we got next week, Caleb?
Oh, fucking look at you wrapping us up
I'm
quickly.
going to wrap us up hard. Cool.
Well, we've been going for quite a while. I don't know what we got next week. I'm just rapping.
You just wrap
We're
it.
done.
Oh,
We're
there is
fucking
no
done.
next week. No, there is next week.
Of course, there's the next week.
Nah, we will.
We'll be back next week, ladies and
We'll be
gentlemen.
back next week. I don't know what I was doing.
Thanks for listening to this long-winded episode.
Yes.
Ryan's got to go to bed, everyone.
I do. I've got a bedtime.
I'm Peppa Pig, cunts! For the 3rd week in a row,
Wow.
just to piss Caleb off.
Wow. My son would have heard that. Thank you.
Now I feel bad.
You should. You shit cunt.
Yeah, I know what he's calling his teachers tomorrow.
Ooh, Caleb just said the C word.
Can't
Peace
help
out, people.
it.
Thank
Part
you
of
for
my
listening.
vernacular now.
Catch you later, dude and dudettes.
Catch ya. Love you all.
Bye. G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.